What up guys, in this video I will help you choose the right PvP trinket for your favorite character, class and spec. One thing to keep in mind before I start is that the Conquest version of the badge trinket has different stats than its Honor version. The Conquest badge trinket offers critical strike chance while the Honor counterpart offers haste. So let's start with the crowd control trinkets. The choice here is very simple. If you are playing solo, always go with Sigil, unless you are going against a rogue. In that case, swap to your medallion, since the rogue will likely sap your Sigil out at the start of the match, leaving you with no trinket available for when the kidney shot burst comes. The reason Sigil is superior to Medallion in solo queue is because you cannot coordinate with your healer. And as such, what will end up happening very often is that you will trinket at the same time your healer dispels you, leaving both you without a trinket for 2 minutes and your healer without a dispel for a few seconds. No matter what you hear the rank 1 say, I guarantee you that running Sigil in solo queue will win you many more matches than running a Medallion. Now about said Medallion. This trinket gives you on-demand crowd control removal on a 2-minute cooldown. This is your best option for organized team play, because if you are pre-made with a healer or a DPS that can dispel your crowd control, for example Retribution Paladin's PvP talent, Blessing of Sanctuary, then it will be much more valuable to you to have an on-demand trinket for when your healer tells you that he cannot dispel you at that moment. In short, Sigil for solo queue and Medallion for pre-made arena or when you're going against a rogue. Now to the damage options. You should choose the badge trinket if your spec's win condition is based on a 1 or 2 minute cooldown burst window. For example, Retribution Paladins, Fire Mages, Rogues, even Evokers depending on your playstyle. You should never buy the Insignia trinket, it is just unreliable, its proc rate is somewhat predictable, but you will still not be able to choose when it comes up. And it might very well proc in a situation you cannot invest on, for example when disengaging, playing defensively, or when you are crowd controlled. Also, this trinket will make the game considerably less fun, because to make it work, you will need to play under constant stress of making sure you will have your burst available for when it does proc. This will cause you to often save your cooldowns for 10 seconds or more at a time, which throughout the match will result in you having bursted one less time than what you could have. This is a terrible trinket. I do see a lot of rank 1 players using it, and all I have to say about that is that if they can get up there making this kind of poor decisions, then so can you. Also, those are the kind of rank 1 players that will struggle to get duelist in solo queue, because all they know is how to do the same scripted combos since 2004 with their pre-made forever on the meta overpowered classes. And we all know that I'm talking about rogues, druids and mages. With that said, if you rely on a 1 or 2 minute burst windows, then badge is the way to go. But what if you are, for example, a demon hunter, where your burst window is on a 40-second cooldown? Are you going to waste 20 seconds waiting for a trinket? Of course not. If the 1 to 2 minute rule does not apply to you, that's when you go with the Emblem Trinket. This is my favorite trinket. I much prefer to have an additional strong 2 minute cooldown defensive that also grants you a lot of passive agility than to run a damage trinket that overall will add up to pretty much the same damage dealt without granting you a defensive option. Now, if anyone tells you that the haste or critical strike chance of the 2 damage PvP trinkets gives you more DPS than the raw agility you get from the emblem, well, at that moment, you know that guy is just bad at the game, doesn't know, or is just an hypocrite who prefers to tell everyone else they are wrong instead of accepting the fact that they are bad. Even if you are a burst window reliant class, if you are struggling to survive other people's bursts, I highly encourage you to try an Emblem Trinket. Your damage will not suffer as much as you might think, and you will have an amazing 2 minute cooldown defensive in your pocket should you need it. And just like that, we have reached the end of this PvP Trinket guide. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, and as always, I will see you in the arena.